Good evening, my name is Ella Ng, and this is my presentation on my Netflix Movie Tracker database project. And so in this walkthrough, I'll just give us just a simple explanation of how the database works. I'll go over the ER diagram that shows its structure, and I'll walk you through how I created it using R and SQL. And yeah. Oops. So just a brief overview, this database is kind of meant to act like something Netflix could use to keep track of its content and what users are watching, and so it overall helps to store information about users, movies, movie genres, directors, and user ratings. And with this setup, we can answer questions like, what has each user watched, which genres are most popular, who directed which movies, and what are the top rated films. And so overall, it's really designed to be flexible, efficient, and easy to expand if I wanted to add even more features like actor information or even watch time as well. So starting off with the ER diagram, here's my ER diagram, and then here's kind of a brief overview about the ER diagram. And so let me just give a quick breakdown of the design. And so starting off with users, so with users, it stores info like ID, name, email, and subscription type. With directors, it holds the name and birth year of each movie director that I have provided. Genres, it lists genres kind of like sci-fi, comedy, drama, etc. And then for movies, each movie has a title, year, and is linked to a director. As you can see here, the connection and the genre, the relationship. And then watch history, it connects the users here in the movies they've watched along with the date and rating. And so these tables are connected using IDs, and this setup helps reduce repeated information while keeping everything organized and overall easy to search through. And it also allows us to run complex queries later on that combine information from multiple tables. And so starting off, before I created the tables, I added this code just to drop any old tables, and so this helps to overall prevent errors if the tables already exist. And so this is especially useful when you're testing the database and kind of want to restart everything and start it clean. It also keeps the database, like I said previously, clean and avoids any accidents or duplications. Okay, now let's discuss, kind of creating the tables. And so each table does have a primary key, which makes each entry unique, and foreign keys that kind of connect the tables together. For example, if a movie lists a director ID of 1, we can look that up in the directors table to find who directed it. And then so overall, this structure helps keep the data clean, it avoids repeats, and it makes it easier to manage. And also, if I want to add new features later, like more detailed reviews or actor credits, I can easily expand the tables without changing everything else. And so the tables are also normalized, which means each type of information is stored only once, and this makes updates easier and prevents any errors later on. And so moving on, so once the tables were created, I added some sample data to work with. And so as you can see here, I kind of added names, Alice Chen, Bob Smith, and I went into their Gmail and their subscription type as well, and I kind of added sample data for the rest as well. And so yes, I did the same for genres, directors, movies, and watch history. And so for example, I linked Inception to Christopher Nolan, great director by the way, and sets its genre as sci-fi. And so the sample data wasn't just random. I really wanted to plan it out to make sure that there weren't multiple movies by the same director, that they were different genres and users with different subscription types. So you can see here premium versus standard. And then through this way, when I run queries later, the results are more interesting and more realistic, especially to what the users prefer, what the users watch, the different type of directors, the different type of movie genres, etc. And so, because overall having a good sample data helps show the full power of the database, it helps show the full understanding, and it gives the query something meaningful to return, and helps to prove that the structure actually, works. And so here are some example queries. And so now that the database is full of data, I can run queries that pull useful information. And so for example, right here, this can tell me what movies were watched by who and on what date. Right here for aggregate, this can show how well each movie is rated on average by viewers, and then this can kind of help Netflix highlight top rated content that the users really do prefer as well. Right here, basic select, and then this can kind of select and show which users have what subscription types to kind of differentiate, maybe see what the users prefer, if premium or versus standard, which one is using what more often. And so then going into new SQL functions, and so I added some new SQL functions that weren't covered in task. And so right here I used Julian Day, and so this is kind of to describe how long ago a movie was watched. And so this tells me, yes, like I said previously, how many days ago each movie was watched. This kind of information can help with recommendation algorithms almost. You know, Netflix might want to remind a user to rewatch something they haven't seen in a while. Here, I used kind of a string concentration using these two lines right here to building a review sentence. And so this helps create sentences for each review. Like, for example, Alice rated Inception a 5, and overall it's a helpful way to make data more readable when showing it in reports or certain dashboards. And then here I use a case statement to turn ratings into categories, and so this helps us to turn numbers into labels. It makes the data easier to understand at a glance. Instead of seeing, 5, we see excellent, we see a more worded rating. And so overall, they kind of help to make the database smarter, all of these new SQL functions. And this is what, Netflix needs when they're analyzing user activity and overall content performance. And so, yes, thank you for watching my presentation.